Welcome to NYNJPA Weather, your severe weather source for the Northern Mid-Atlantic. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Good morning. It is August 2nd, 2011, and we actually have rather pleasant weather conditions over the Northern Mid-Atlantic. High pressure's in complete control, but we have a disturbance here that's going to cause us some trouble for tomorrow morning. But otherwise, a northwesterly flow is in effect. In fact, when you take a look at the latest dew points, they are very low. Dew points falling below 60 degrees over parts of northeastern Pennsylvania, and in the lower 60s over much of the New York City and Philadelphia metropolitan area, which means for once when we go outside, it won't feel oppressive outside. Humidity will remain low. Temperatures, though, because of a northwesterly wind, will downslope off the Appalachian Mountains, and that will allow temperatures to jump up into the 80s to lower 90s. I would not be surprised if a few mid-90s develop in the Delaware River Valley. So high pressure is in control. So what will happen with this disturbance? Well, let's take a look at the water vapor satellite picture. As you can see, we have an impressive upper level low setting up over parts of the Canadian Maritimes and eastern Canada, and that's slowly moving through also parts of northern Maine. Now, in the meantime, we have our disturbance here. Notice the winds are from the northwest between this upper level low and this ridge axis, and disturbances diving south. What we're going to see happen is that these disturbances are going to weaken as they move south and east, because this is a convergent weather pattern, convergent upper level winds. And when winds converge, well, that usually leads to sinking air and also weakening disturbances. So, as we see here, we have our disturbance here. It's going to dive through parts of the Great Lakes towards Pennsylvania tonight. Tomorrow, the low pressure system and the associated disturbance will move through the Philadelphia metropolitan area with periods of heavy rain. Now, for the most part, I think that as the disturbance reaches central Pennsylvania by tomorrow morning, we'll see a lot of the rain shield with these with the showers and thunderstorms associated with this low pressure system collapsing and weakening. And as a result, I don't expect a complete and total washout tomorrow morning. Now, there will be an MCS that develops with this low pressure system, and a few strong to possibly even a few isolated severe thunderstorms. But again, I don't expect this to be a complete washout. I think that as the disturbance weakens and moves through the region, a lot of these showers and thunderstorms will start to break up, and we'll end up with cloudy skies, temperatures in the 80s. I think to the north and east of New York City, especially over Connecticut and the Hudson River Valley, and even eastern Long Island, we'll see scattered to broken cloud cover and overall a pleasant day with only a few isolated scattered showers in the early morning hours as this disturbance passes through. So what can we expect for the rest of the week? Well, first I want to go down to the tropics, because I want to show you the latest on our tropical storm. This is Tropical Storm Emily, and first let's just refresh this real fast. And one thing I noticed over the past several hours is that Emily is starting to become a lot better organized. Notice when we start out, the low-level center is right around here, and the convection, so we stop here, at the start of this was pretty much focused on the western side of the circulation. Now, by the time we get to the most recent picture, the convection is wrapping around the low-level center. This tropical storm is rapidly starting to intensify. I would not be surprised if the 11 a.m. updates come out with Emily being a lot stronger than what it was earlier this morning. And Emily is going to pose a problem for the forecast for later on in the period. Now, you notice I'm not using models this morning. The global models just are not handling this system very well, and they're not handling the overall upper level pattern, in my opinion, very well. So we're going to use just the water vapor satellite picture and show you exactly what I think is going to happen here. So let's go to water vapor, and this is the water vapor view of the northwestern Atlantic. And you can see the forecast from the NHC of taking Emily through the Bahamas and up the east coast towards parts of the Georgia and South Carolina coast. So what am I expecting over the next several days? Well, this disturbance again dives southeast towards the northern mid-Atlantic tomorrow with scattered showers and thunderstorms. This high pressure system will then take hold over the northern mid-Atlantic for Thursday and Friday, producing very pleasant weather conditions. But of course, this high pressure system will move off the east coast. Southwesterly flow returns, and Saturday and Sunday we'll see an increase in humidity and of course higher temperatures. Now there will be a threat of a few isolated showers and thunderstorms with a few rogue disturbances that dive south and east towards the northern mid-Atlantic, but I do not think that this weekend will be a washout by any means. For the most part, I think Saturday afternoon through much of Sunday will be dry, few scattered to variable clouds, and of course temperatures in the mid 80s to lower 90s with dew points in the 60s and 70s, which will make for a typical hazy, hot and humid summer day. Not now oppressive, but still clearly humidity is going to be in play. As far as our tropical storm, or potentially a hurricane by this point, especially with the way that Emily's developing this morning, what we're going to be watching for is a disturbance that's going to dive through the northern plains by the end of this weekend. Now, the problem that I have with the model guidance is that every time it tries to take a disturbance this far south into the Mississippi River Valley, it makes the disturbance way too strong. And if this disturbance is weaker and our tropical system, Emily, is stronger, well, Emily might not be pulled out into the Atlantic so easily as some of the model guidance is suggesting. So I think everyone from basically, well, the northern mid-Atlantic, the New York City metropolitan area, down through the Florida coast, really needs to keep an eye on the development of Emily. I do not think it's a slam dunk that Emily will just simply head out into the Atlantic and not bother anyone. So we're going to have to keep an eye on Emily for sure. The key here is just how far south our next disturbance gets this weekend and whether or not it's actually strong enough to kick Emily out into the Atlantic like a football through a goalpost. We're going to have to keep an eye on it. Again, should be an interesting setup. But if Emily does curve out to sea, well, that will mean that the start of next week will be rather dry and very sunny because of subsidence from our tropical system sitting out over the Atlantic. But of course, if it decides to curve up the coast, well, then we're dealing with a lot more rainfall. So that's something we're going to watch through the next several days, and I'll let you know if any changes do occur, because this pattern is going to be very interesting to watch. Thank you for trusting in NYNJPA Weather as your severe weather source for the northern mid-Atlantic. To find the latest weather information and severe weather coverage, always trust in nyNJPAweather.com or find NYNJPA Weather on Twitter, Facebook, and Tumblr. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Have an excellent day.